nmap, or Network Mapper, is a free open-source network scanner that discovers hosts and services on a computer network by sending packets and analyzing the responses. nmap provides a number of features for probing computer networks, including service detection, operating system detection, and host discovery. These features are extended by the use of scripts that provide more advanced service detection. Every penetration tester, ethical hacker, or other cybersecurity professional uses nmap. In this demo, we're going to explore nmap and many of its uses. Right off the bat, I'm going to tell you that we're only going to cover a fraction of nmap's features. There are entire courses about nmap. It has hundreds and hundreds of uses. So with that, let's get started. I'm on this Kali Linux machine, and I have a terminal open. I'm going to do an ifconfig because I want to figure out what subnet I'm on. My IP address is up here, and the subnet mask is over here. So based on the IP address of 10.10.10.197 and the subnet mask, I can pretty much assume that my usable IP range will go from 10.10.10.1 to 254. The first, most basic command is nmap 10.10.10.0/24. Now, if I were to run this command just like this, it would scan every IP address on this subnet and a whole bunch of ports on each device. This could take a long time. To speed things up a bit, I'm going to modify our scan and add -F to do a fast scan. Notice that this is a capital F, not lowercase. When I do the scan now, nmap will scan only 100 ports on each device, which will cut down the amount of time to complete the scan. Now I'll press enter and wait. Okay, the scan is finished. It scanned 256 IP addresses and 3 hosts, and it took a bit over 13 seconds to complete. The next scan will detect the operating system on the remote system. It doesn't always work, but we'll go ahead and give it a try. The command to do this is nmap -O 10.10.10.1. And after I press enter, I get some information about the OS. I can see that I have Linux running, and the kernel is 4.4. Now that I have this information, it could help me find out what types of vulnerabilities this system has. Okay, now I want to find the versions of the services running on a system. For that, I can do a version scan. This is done with the command nmap -S V 10.10.10.1. Press enter. Now, in addition to seeing the service running, I also see the version of the service. I can see that OpenSSH 7.4 is running. Along with this version of DNS, I have Apache down here. With this information, I can do some research and see if there are any known issues that I should be aware of. Now, let's say I'm only interested in a range of ports. I can tell nmap to just scan a range of ports with the command nmap 10.10.10.1-P80 through 443. I press enter, and you can see that it only returned those ports from that range. I see my port 80, port 179, and port 443. All the scans so far have been TCP scans. Now let's do a UDP scan. I do that by typing nmap -S U 10.10.10.1. And when I press enter, I see some new ports here. I have ports 161, 500, 1900, and 5351. Sometimes you might do a scan, but you want to save the information for later. You can have the output go into a text file. To do that, I would type in my command, such as nmap -S S 10.10.10.1-O N scan.txt, and press enter. So I told nmap to do a default SYN scan, but to save it to a text file called scan.txt. Now, this is not only displaying my results, but it also wrote the output to a text file. Let's save the results. If I want to look at these, I'll type in cat scan.txt and press enter. And here's the output again. There might be a time or two when you want to send nmap scan results to someone, and this is one way of doing that. That's it for this demo. In this